Good evening and welcome to the March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. My name is Chad Brown and I serve as chairman of the board as well as a commissioner from the Riverbend Township. I would like to welcome our viewers and thank Spectrum, Cable, and AT&T for making it possible for our citizens, for our television audience and live streaming audience. I would like to present our county commission beginning on my speakerphone. Commissioner Fraley.
Alan Fraley, Cherryville Township.
Ronnie Worley, South Point Township.
Good evening, Bob Hovis, Critters Mountain Township.
Kim Johnson, Gastonia Township.
Good evening, Tom Kigger, Gastonia Township.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Next thing we'll do is the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation be led by Commissioner Hovis, and the Pledge of Allegiance be by Commissioner.
Please bow with me. Gracious Father, we come to you tonight to conduct the business of Gaston County. Father, we seek your divine guidance in our actions as we continue to move Gaston County forward into 2022, into 2023. Father, we want to be especially mindful of those people in Texas and Mississippi and others who are being affected by this storm front that's moving through. Father, there's been a tremendous amount of damage from tornadoes. Father, we ask that you reach out your healing hand on those individuals and those communities as they persevere through these adverse conditions. Father, we ask for your strength and your guidance. We ask that in his name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item tonight is public hearings. The County Commission will take citizens' comments on public hearings, zoning map change Z22-05. Boyd and Aletha West are the applicants. Ms. Jamie Kimbergaloo, Long Range Planner, Building and Development Services, will provide a brief overview. Once she has completed her comments, citizens' comments will be taken. Ms. Kimbergaloo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Application Z22-05 is a request to rezone parcel 218666 from the R1 Single Family Limited Zoning District to the R2 Single Family Moderate Zoning District. The property is located on end of the trail off of Pewett's Chapel Road. The applicants and owners are Boyd and Aletha West, and they are asking to rezone 1.19 acres out of the 2.11 acres of this parcel. The parcel is located north of Bessemer City. The aerials show a mix of housing types in the area, and the property owners are in the process of subdividing the lot so that a new dwelling unit can be placed on the newly subdivided parcel. The new parcel will have access off of end of the trail. There used to be a non-conforming single-wide manufactured home on this lot. Since it was removed, though, any new structures have to meet the UDO, which is why the applicant is going through the subdivision and rezoning process. The property is currently zoned R1 and is across the street from property zoned R2 and R3. As we zoom out a little more, we can see that there is area zoned R2 just to the west of the property as well. This map shows which property owners were notified with information for the public hearing. Staff received a few phone calls after the property sign was posted. However, all were for general inquiry.
Ms. Kimbergaloo, I'm going to stop you just one second.
Okay.
My pages were stuck together. I didn't get everything in, so I apologize. The commission will take citizens' comments for 3 public hearings. Comments will be taken on the following issues: zoning map change Z22-05, zoning text amendment ZTA 22-02, Gaston County Unified Fire Protection Service District to provide fire service and rescue squad. Before we begin, we'll have to start back over, but before we begin, let me outline the rules of procedure. Citizens wishing to make comments will be recognized by the chair and then requested to step to the microphone for their comments. Citizens will state their name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. All questions shall be directed to the chair for response. The chair shall rule on all points of order, and now I will take a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Kieger, seconded by Commissioner Worley. All in favor? Commissioner Fraley.
Yay.
Thank you. I apologize, young lady. Please.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Application Z22-05 is a request to rezone parcel 218666 from the R1 Single Family Limited Zoning District to the R2 Single Family Moderate Zoning District. The property is located on end of the trail off of Pewett's Chapel Road. The applicants and owners are Boyd and Aletta West, and they are asking to rezone 1.19 acres out of the 2.11 acres on this parcel. The parcel is located just north of Bessemer City. The aerials show a mixture of housing types in the area. The property owners are in the process of subdividing the lot so that a new dwelling unit can be placed on the subdivided parcel. The new parcel will have access off of end of the trail, and there used to be a non-conforming single-wide manufactured house on this portion of the lot. Since it was removed, any new structures have to meet the UDO, which is why they are going through this process. The property is currently zoned R1 and is across the street from property zoned R2 and R3. As we zoom out a little more, we see a few more parcels in the area that are also zoned R2. This map shows which property owners were notified with information for the public hearing. Staff received a few phone calls after the property sign was posted, however, all were for general inquiry. Staff finds that the application as presented is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. According to the MPO, there are no funded transportation improvement plans in the immediate vicinity of this site. The property is in a predominantly residential area, and the proposed use is also residential. Staff feels that going from R1 to R2 would keep the subject parcel residential in nature, which is consistent with the rural designation of the area, and would keep the parcel in harmony with the immediate vicinity. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any citizens wishing to make comment at this time? Seeing none, are there any questions from the Board of Commissioners? Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just referenced the board presentation. We're typically notified of a list of property owners that are joining this property to be notified, and I'm assuming that was done, but it's not in the packet.
The list of owners?
Owners around this particular property, were they notified? Do we have that list?
Yes, we do have the list, and it should have been in the staff packet.
Yeah,
But this map shows who was notified.
I just didn't see that. But so did we have any?
No one,
Any calls?
no one from this map and this list called. We did have some calls of people who were driving by, and they just asked what was going on.
Right,
But
okay.
there was no contest against it.
Any other questions? Commissioner Fraley, did you have any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. For no additional comments, I will declare the public hearing closed. I will turn it over, well, I will wait just 1 second. Sorry, Bill, it's my fault. Bill, if you'd like to please read the planning board's recommendation, sir.
I would. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As described by staff, that is consistent with the future land use plan. The proposed rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan. This going from R1 to R2 will keep the subject parcel residential in nature, which is consistent with the rural designation and in harmony with the uses in the immediate vicinity.
Thank you, sir. And the planning board's recommendation, once again on that vote?
Unanimous.
Thank you. The vote was unanimous by the planning board. I'll now turn it over. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Kieger, seconded by Commissioner Hovis. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Fraley?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. The second item, the County Commission will take citizens' comments on public hearing zoning text amendment ZTA 22-02, Gaston County Planning Board. Ms. Jamie Kumbergerloo, Long Range Planning Building and Development Services, will provide a brief overview. Once she has completed her comments, citizens' comments will be taken. Ms. Kumbergerloo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. ZTA 22-02 is a request to amend Chapter 9, Section 9.9 of our UDO. This section regulates accessory structures throughout the county. The goal of this amendment was to simplify the staff review process for permitting accessory structures. The current UDO considers whether a property is greater than or less than 1/2 acre to determine the maximum permitted area of accessory structures on a lot. The maximum permitted area uses a formula, and when staff started digging into the why, for example, why are we calculating it this way, we felt that the current factors and formula not only complicated the review process, but it also did not do a good job of keeping accessory structures accessory in nature. For example, if you have a 6-acre lot with a 2,000 square foot home, under the current ordinance, you can have accessory buildings up to 7,900 square feet, which would no longer be an accessory structure as it is larger than the principal dwelling. The proposed text amendment has measures to keep this from happening. The first thing staff did was remove the two-step calculation and the formula used to calculate how much space on a lot could be dedicated towards accessory structures. We separated all of the lots into 2 categories. If a lot is less than 2 acres in size, it will follow one set of rules. If a lot is greater than 2 acres in size, it has a different set of rules. The next thing we addressed was how many structures can be on a lot. If you have less than 2 acres, you will have 2 structures in addition to a detached garage or carport. Lots greater than 2 acres then can have 3 structures in addition to a detached garage or carport. After that, we included a cap on how much land could be dedicated to the accessory structures. This cap will not only keep the buildings accessory-like, but it will also help regulate the amount of impervious area on the lot. This will help retain pervious areas on the lots which are needed for water runoff. From there, we created a cap on how large each individual accessory structure can be, and it's based off of the size of the primary dwelling. This measure will help keep accessory buildings accessory-like in nature, and then there is also a height requirement that will do the same thing in keeping them smaller than the principal dwelling units. The last row is also a new regulation that we are proposing. It would allow lots greater than 2 acres to have a garage or carport in the front yard as long as it is 30 feet from the road right-of-way. Overall, staff feels that this amendment will simplify the review process and allow residents greater flexibility for having accessory structures. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any citizens at this time who wish to comment on this issue? Seeing none, are there any comments that wish to come from the Board of Commissioners? Seeing none, I will declare the public hearing closed, and I will turn it over to our attorney, Mr. Stetzer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The proposed text amendment is consistent with the comprehensive land use plan as it increases citizen awareness and knowledge into community issues where opportunities and improves the image of Gaston County to current and potential residents.
Thank you, sir. And once again, Ms. Berger, that came from your planning board. That's
yes.
right. So we won't have to have that. So at this time, I will ask for a motion made by Commissioner Hovis, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yay.
Mr. Fraley, thank you. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. The Gaston County Commission will now take citizens' comments on public hearing to define and establish the Gaston County Unified Fire Protection Service District to provide fire protection and rescue services. Mr. Kevin Gordon, Director of Emergency Management and Fire Services Director, and Mr. Greg Grayson, Consultant, will provide a brief overview. Once they have completed their comments, citizens' comments will be taken. Mr. Gordon.
Hey, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Eagle. As you may remember, last year during the budget process or budget message, this comprehensive fire study was directed. So since then, and more important in the last couple of months, the speed of this process has increased. So we're at a point now where the consultant is starting to make recommendations, and it's time for us to make some decisions as we want to move forward to better serve the citizens of the county as far as in areas of fire protection. As you may remember, currently we the county contract with 17 non-governmental fire departments to provide fire protection in the unincorporated areas of the county, along with the town of Ranlow and the town of Haw Shoals. And currently those 17 fire departments are funded through 20 fire districts, 18 which are fire protection service districts and 2 which are voted in fire districts. So what we're going to do tonight, with me I have Greg Grayson from our consultant, which is the North Carolina Fire Chiefs Consultant. He's going to give you a brief overview of what we have done to this date and what this next step is and the purpose of the public hearing tonight. The public hearing tonight is required by North Carolina General Statute, and you guys, there has been a report that has been provided for the county commissioners and also has been on file with the clerk's office for the allotted time. He's going to speak to that briefly as well, and then at the end of that, we're here to take any questions that they are. Greg has been, Mr. Grayson, Greg has been with the North Carolina Fire Service for many years. He's served in Wake County. He also served as the fire chief in Asheville and retired out of Greensboro. He worked for the North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal for a period of time, and he's been in the consultant for many years. It's a pleasure to have him here, and he's a great asset to this process and to the county, and has done a yeoman's job in getting us to this point. This time, it's my pleasure to introduce Greg.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you here tonight. While we get the technology pulled up, we certainly appreciate the chance to be with you here, and want to thank the staff for working with us through this process, as well as your fire service leaders over the previous months. They have been certainly a pleasure to work with, and we appreciate that opportunity. We're going to give a brief overview of some of the information that is pertinent tonight relative to general statute, and also update you on where we are with this particular process. So as we look at Gaston County, it is presented as a unified fire protection service district. As Chief Gordon said a moment ago, you do have some service districts as well as rural fire tax districts today. This is presenting to you a unified fire protection service district. I'm here with North Carolina Fire Chief Consulting. We work with cities and counties throughout North Carolina. We focus only on North Carolina. We've worked with a number of counties in this type of process. We focus all of our attention within North Carolina. We are the North Carolina League of Municipalities fire consulting provider, so they keep us pretty busy throughout North Carolina. Some of the goals in particular for Gaston County, as you have looked at needing to make some changes with the environment and growth in Gaston County, as well as some of the changing dynamics in the fire service, is really to look at sustainable funding, dedicated and sustainable funding that relates to service delivery improvement. That's what we're about, trying to improve service delivery systems. You've also looked at equity in that service delivery across the entire county, and also trying to work on a strengthened governance structure, a structure that enables you as the Board of Commissioners to set a contract and agreement, but have involvement of your fire service and also involvement of residents and consumers of that service as well. Also having some dynamic formulas that can be applied to help register the hazard and risk throughout the county. You have a large county, you have different hazards and risk within that county, and a system that can adjust throughout Gaston County. And also have a more equitable level of taxation throughout the county as well as you move forward and you grow accordingly. So those are just some of the goals that we have been working on with staff as well as the fire service. When we look at where we are in this process, as you look at these boxes, you'll see some are green. Those are the pieces that we have moved through thus far. We have been doing a lot of work with research. We have looked at data and information. Your fire service providers have been very, very cooperative in giving a lot of background data, financial information, and resources to be able to evaluate where you are today. We developed a North Carolina General Statute report, which is required anytime that you consider the adoption of a service district in North Carolina. And we developed that. You as the board adopted a resolution capping the rate of that service district, and you called for this public hearing that we're here for tonight. In calling for that public hearing, it also required that that report be published and notice be given, and you have done that accordingly. And that brings us to that advertising and holding that public hearing, which we're here for tonight, representing that red box that you see there. Following this process tonight, should you move forward with this, it would be adopting a budget, as part of the budget process, adopting a rate for that service district. And then as part of a service district, municipalities have an opportunity to join the service district if they so choose. Those have to come back to you as the board to approve those, and we'll be working with the staff and with you in that process as we move forward for those municipalities that are interested, and then implementing that service district. And there are some pieces that are important there as well. We are recommending the use of a fire commission. That's a model that is very successful through North Carolina, and we think that'll be a successful model for Gaston County as well. The purpose of the Fire Protection Service District, a couple key words there that are very important, and that's to enable that sustainable funding. A service district means that funding is only to be used for fire and rescue services. It can't be used for any other purpose. So it has to be used for fire and rescue services, and something that that is a dedicated funding stream for that purpose, and also to have that governance structure that provides fire and rescue services for the people of Gaston County. The scope is for the unincorporated areas of Gaston County. It doesn't include any municipalities. Municipalities can request to come to you and say, we want to be a part of that, but the proposal for you today is only for unincorporated areas of Gaston County. But if they do come to you, they have to do that by resolution. There are several pieces of the North Carolina General Statute relative to service districts, and you saw this earlier when you called for this public hearing, but I'll give just a very brief reminder that you as commissioners must find that all 4 of these findings apply when you consider the adoption of a service district. There has to be a demonstrable need for providing fire protection, and in your report you'll see the growth in the numbers and the service delivery that covers all of those. Being impossible or impractical to provide those services on a county-wide basis. And you have a very large municipality within your county, and that really makes it impractical for Gaston County to be able to do that in a county-wide basis. That it is economically feasible to provide this. You already have service districts, you already have rural fire tax districts, so you have methods and practices in the past that have been supporting it. You're putting those into a unified method moving forward. And last, demonstrable demand for proposed services by the people in the district. And our data shows that your people within Gaston County are using the services. In fact, your service delivery demand is increasing over time with your population. That statutory report required by statute, North Carolina General Statute, also says there has to be a map that has been produced and advertised accordingly. That statement showing all of the elements needed as well as those key findings have been included, and a plan for outlining how that district will work has also been included and provided for anyone who wanted to review that information. There are a few mechanics to make you aware of the service district. It does include baseline funding, and what that means that each of your private nonprofit fire departments would have a baseline of funding, and that would be using your FY 21-22 funding as the baseline. But there would also be a foundational amount, $250,000 per year for fire agencies that are fully within Gaston County as an established baseline to just ensure that they can fully operate and provide a level of service that you're expecting them to provide to the people of Gaston County. And this represents no loss to the contracting nonprofit fire departments for the coming year of 22-23. So that baseline funding is an important component moving forward in the mechanics. Number 2, a method to improve and enhance. And so we have proposed and developed an enhancement plan that really looks at what is the hazards and risk in each individual community. What are the needs? What are the hazards that are protected? What's the population? What's the square miles? The number of businesses, homes, all of those components, and a way to look at that so that each area is unique, and so are the hazards to protect in those areas. Next is capital funding. Fire apparatus and equipment, very expensive to purchase, and you have quite a large amount in this county that is either at or approaching its life expectancy, and the need to plan, just like you plan in Gaston County, to replace your capital equipment. So should the fire apparatus be replaced so that it can be in a predictable method over time and be planned accordingly. And we have included that. Last is grant funding. Sometimes your private nonprofit fire departments want to apply for grants, but they don't have the funds to match those grants. Federal monies are available sometimes, but they can't make the match. And so that's a piece that's included. There also may be opportunities where some of the departments want to work together on an initiative, and grant funding is an appropriate and important piece of that. So those are 4 categories of funding that is being proposed: the baseline, service delivery enhancement, capital, and then grant funding. When we look ahead into the coming year, the 22-23 coming fiscal year, you'll have the opportunity to set that tax rate appropriately at that time as part of the budget. When the budget's presented and you approve the budget, I'll remind that this board did set a cap in accordance with North Carolina General Statute, a maximum of 15 cents per $100. That's outlined in the statute, and that was part of calling for this public hearing and part of how this was established as outlined by the statute. But it will be part of your annual budget process. A quick look at dates. February 22nd, you adopted that resolution with the cap and also called for this public hearing. March 22nd, of course, we're here with this public hearing today, and if you desire to do so, may adopt that service district. Some of the next steps moving forward will be to hear from municipalities that may choose to want to be a part of the service district, and we'll have input for you to consider with those resolutions and requests. A next piece is also looking at the Fire Commission and naming that Fire Commission and some of the bylaws that will be appropriate as you move closer to that July 1 implementation. And then, of course, the setting the tax rate will be an important piece that will be part of your budget process for the coming fiscal year 22-23. With that, I'll be glad to take any questions that the board may have, and then comments from public.
Thank you, Mr. Grayson, for your time being put into this, and Kevin as well. Are there any questions at this time from any citizens' comments? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Just come up, please. State your name and address for the record, please.
Joshua Brown, 1149 Knowles Drive, Mount Holly, North Carolina, 28120. Good. Okay. I come to you tonight to speak in support of the Unified Fire Protection Service District as a resident of Gaston County, whose family and family members are protected by volunteer fire departments, and myself having been a part of the fire service for 16 years. Supporting this service district will provide sustainability and improvements for the volunteer fire service within Gaston County. As we continue to grow as a county, we must ensure that all citizens are protected by a well-maintained and supported fire protection district within the county. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Name and address for the record, please, sir.
All right, my name's Chris Eason, 2406 Woodleaf Drive, Gastonia. I'm here, let me kind of start over again. I'm here not necessarily as a board member of Crowders Mountain Volunteer Fire Department. I am actually the chairman for that specific department. But here as a citizen myself today too. I definitely can see the positives that will come out of this, being able to consolidate a lot of the financials, be able to help the different fire departments that are already bumping up against or getting close to the 15 cents max. So I will do, from my standpoint, everything I can do to support this. But the one thing I do want to point out is change management. This will be a change to all the departments. You know, today they have more control over their districts. They serve their community. They can decide on what the services to provide, the costs, you know, specific to those. And then if that does change the fire tax, be able to come to the county commissioners and only change the tax for that particular district. So there is probably a little concern as far as loss of control. So I think change management and making sure that everyone can move along nice and smoothly will be important in this process. But we do need to make a change. It is time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other citizens wishing to comment at this time on this issue? Seeing none, are there any at this time from the Board of Commissioners? I will state that I think as this board has been put through, in my years in this, the biggest contention is when we get to the budget, we always seem to have this as the outlier. This is the one where everybody seems to wait and see what happens. And then all of a sudden it seems like we're trying to catch up with different departments. This right here will ensure that the citizens of Gaston are getting the best fire protection that we can provide, and making sure that the loss of control is not necessarily with you, but also with us, as we're not just a pass-through. We answer to the citizens of Gaston County on the fire protection. We are grateful for the men and women who serve in these fire districts, and I mean it. We are grateful for you, and we want more ways we can show, we can help. We've tried to do different things to make sure, and we're going to continue to push forward to make sure that you guys are not inadequate in any way, if that makes sense. We're going to make sure that we do our part, and I wanted to pass that along because I did sit on the fire board for so long. I was grateful to turn it over to Vice Chairman Hovis in order to try to get some other people to look at that. And but we're very grateful for the men and women who do that, and I just want to say thank you. Mr. Hovis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am new to be the board's representative to the fire service, volunteer fire service. And when Mr. Grayson was at the chief's meeting here several weeks ago, he made this very similar presentation and actually took questions that went a little more in depth as far as what the future status would be. And I was very encouraged to hear all the positive see all the positive body language and hear all the positive comments from the chiefs that were there. It is a change, but the world today isn't what it was 15, 20 years ago. And we're still in those 15 or 20 years ago's metrics of operation. And by using the county's purchasing power, the county's leverage, our county grant people, there's so many more things the county can do to provide this countywide to all the VFDs and strengthen their opportunity to continue to provide the exquisite service of protection they give citizens in Gaston County. We're not looking to build a Gaston County Fire Department. That is not in any way, shape, or form the direction of this action. But this action is to create a more robust system, a better opportunity to fund the capital needs and to ensure that the long-term financial wherewithal is there, along with incorporating some contractual changes between the county and our VFDs to make sure we stay focused and we're on target. And I was very appreciative to be at my first meeting and get to interchange and interact with individuals there. I thought it was very positive. I only see it as a positive. We'll all be better because we're all going to be pulling the wagon from the same rope and not pulling in different directions. And I think that's what these gentlemen who were present that night thought. And I think it's just a great opportunity for us to move things forward positively. And I look to continuing to be that voice between the board and the county in terms of implementing all those changes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Worley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would have a comment and then a question. I certainly see the strength of this model that we're moving toward and being equitable across the county with some of the districts that are less wealthy and have less of a tax base. So that is certainly equitable and can help out some of those underfunded departments. But I would have a question for Kevin concerning the municipality resolutions. What would that model look like, Kevin, if say Lowell or Cramerton or other municipality? I don't look that Gastonia would come to us and say, hey, we're looking at this, but maybe some of the smaller ones may. So just give me an idea how that would look.
So this is process only, so not forecasting that anyone would want to do that. So I'll use an example of Ranlow because that's the one we do today, right? So what has to happen there is that elected body has to pass a resolution to allow this body to tax within that municipality's boundaries, and then we would contract with that non-governmental fire department to provide fire protection to the town of Ranlow. So it would work the same anywhere else.
So the same rate would apply
That's
across
correct.
any municipality that
correct.
chose to come in. So, well, I would say this. So should a municipality that is funding a fire department locally through their property tax that they have locally, so they could come into this system and possibly cut their rate or their tax rate, and then this would supplement the fire service in that municipality. Is that feasible? Would that be?
It's hard to say without knowing what those individual fire department budgets are, but if they were to do that, then they would essentially levy whatever the current tax rate is or whatever the tax rate that this board sets on the taxpayers within that municipal boundary. It might or might not deliver the same amount of money, because that'd be hard for me to guess unless I knew what the actual fire budget
Right.
was.
Okay. That answers his question. Thank you.
And just to put the other municipality as High Shoals that we currently are participating with. Are there any other questions from the Board of Commissioners at this time? Commissioner Fraley, you wish to say anything?
I just echo the comment and support of the other commissioners, and think it's going to be a good program, and look forward to implementing it.
Thank you for your comments, sir. There are no additional comments. I will now declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Hovis, seconded by Commissioner Warley. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner
Yay.
Fraley? Thank you. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. This concludes tonight's public hearings. Thank you for listening. The next item is the approval of the business agenda. Are there any revisions of the business agenda that at this time are needed to be pulled? Motion made by Commissioner Hovis, seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. I'm sorry, Commissioner Fraley?
Yay.
Thank you. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. The next item is approval of the minutes. You were provided the draft minutes before the regular meeting of February 22nd, 2022. Are there any revisions, or do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Kieger, seconded by Commissioner Hovis. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Our next item is citizens' recognitions. A portion of the board's agenda is set aside for the purpose of allowing citizens the opportunity to offer comments or suggestions. This comment period is not intended to require commission or staff to answer any questions or provide a response. Questions requiring a response shall be answered as soon as possible through the county manager's office. Citizens' recognition tonight will be limited to 1 hour. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. As I call your name, please step to the podium and state your name and address. The first citizen to speak tonight is Ms. Charlotte Brown. Ms. Brown?
My name is Charlotte Brown. My address is 1118 Dumbarton Road, Gastonia. I would ask the county commission to reconsider the laws governing animal abuse and cruelty. Something needs to be done soon to change the punishment given to people that mistreat animals of any kind, be it theirs or someone else's. The present laws are not strong enough and have not been for a long time. Animals may be considered property, but they are not furniture nor dishes. People should not have the right to harm an animal without a strong penalty to prevent, or at the very least be a deterrent to do it again. The laws are public knowledge, so people are aware of what punishment will occur for any type of animal abuse. A person brings a pet into the home much the same way a new child is brought in through the door. Neither should be left outside 24/7 in all kinds of weather, hoping to have food or water. If a person cannot care for an animal or a child properly, they don't have a right to have one. We have someone to call for child abuse, and the child is protected, hopefully. I have called about an abused animal and been told, yes, it is pitiful, but they are within the law. Who wrote the laws? People who don't care? I should hope not. Maybe people won't change, but the laws can be to protect those who can't protect themselves. Thank you for giving me the time to speak. I ask that Kim Eagle's office contact me soon with ideas for the next step in this process. We can make a difference by doing the right thing.
And Ms. Brown, thank you for your comments. If you want to submit that, anybody want to make a motion?
I have my contact information.
Motion to accept on Commissioner Hovis, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. All in favor? Commissioner
Yay.
Fraley, thank you. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Kieger?
I know we don't typically
You're good.
respond to anything, but I would just like to maybe advise the speaker that you might want to go to the Animal Control Board if you have not yet, and that's where anything would get started.
Okay. Yeah, I had a meeting Saturday
Okay.
and signed up to help over there.
but nobody over there at the animal
Ms.
control
Brown?
could give me any information.
What I will do, Ms. Brown, I will direct the county manager to have the contact from animal control to please contact her with all the information that she would need to receive to be able to attend that. Thank you, Ms.
Great.
Brown.
Thank you very much.
The next speaker will be Ms. Ashley Hyman. Do you wish to still continue to speak?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next one is Gail Mail.
You guys can see me. Can I move this down? My name is Gail Mall, and I live at 501 Woodlawn Avenue in Mount Holly. And I appreciate the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners, to be able to update you and provide a little bit of information about an activity that occurred in our county on January 25th of this year. I'm here as a member of the advisory board for the Gaston, Lincoln, Cleveland Continuum of Care. And that is an organization, the lead is Health Net Gaston, and it is comprised of community partners who come together with the mission of preventing and assisting those individuals who are experiencing homelessness through our partnerships. On January 25th, we conducted what was called a point-in-time count, and it was done across the nation during that week of January. Each of the individual counties could choose the date and the evening that they wanted. Point in time is exactly that, January 25th. So our goal was to go into our community and find individuals who are experiencing homelessness, who are unsheltered, and ask them, where are you going to sleep tonight, and get basic survey questions from them. A lot of basic demographics, but also some very important information for planning purposes, being how long have you been homeless, where do you receive your health care. Participants who conducted the count were all from Gaston County, made up of law enforcement, United Way, community agencies, Department of Social Service. A lot of different folks came together. Law enforcement partnered with us and helped to identify locations where we could do our survey. We were very successful, and I was very happy to work with all of our partners and our citizens. So I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next person to speak is John Church.
Commissioners, Chairman, my name is John Church. I live at 1004 Middleton Court in Cramerton. My wife and I have been citizens of this county for 25 years, and we have been basically in the real estate business, and most recently developed the Chronicle Mill in Belmont. And I'm here to speak about the middle school and the redevelopment of that property. I also would like to introduce Adi Kandari, who is the CEO of the Care Companies, who has made the bid, the winning bid for that property. And he'll talk after me about what's their role here in that healthcare business. I've known Adi and members of that company for over 25 years and worked with them, and my wife and I are very excited about working with Adi and his team to redevelop the property in Belmont. The property in Belmont, everybody knows where it's at. It's a great location in downtown Belmont. a great facility, a historic facility that Care Partners wants to redevelop into mixed use. And we have worked with the city in introducing some of our plans and vision. The vision is to reactivate that property and to maintain it as a historic project, and bring jobs into the community, as well as invest money to maximize its highest and best use, which is always the goal of any real estate professional, is to try to get the most potential out of that property. I think the key and the focus is reactivate it for the community, but also make it a destination for people to come to, which include things like their healthcare facility, which Care Partners has locations in this county. They've recently purchased the Crest Building in downtown Gastonia and want to activate that as a care facility. They are really excited about this property. They've been working with the school system prior to the property even being offered as an auctioned off. So they very interested, in a long history of trying to utilize this property. So the opportunity to activate it as a service facility for some of their services that they provide in the healthcare area, as well as make an opportunity to bring in retail, restaurants, office, activate some of the larger areas like the gym into a destination food court, and then reactivate the auditorium, make that a community project. So we met today with the City of Belmont and some of its leaders and talked about our vision, and we're really excited about the opportunity to redevelop the property and do some public-private partnerships.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Ari Kandaria? Sorry if I mispronounced it, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to introduce Care Partners. We've been doing business, and I present this on behalf of my team, a wonderful team of 300 professionals that is headquartered in Gastonia. Currently, we are situated off of the Court Drive. We serve many constituents. One is complete rehab, which provides services in cardiac, neuro, and orthopedic rehab. We also have a very rapidly growing arm of Complete Kids that provides services to kids on the spectrum, children on spectrum. And that is the vision that took us to bid for the Belmont Middle School, from kids to kids, and we wanted to leverage at least some of that facility back to service the kids that are on the spectrum, that are neuroatypical, and if we can drive at least 30-35% of the kids back into a neurotypical stream, I think we'll be doing the taxpayer a lot of good over the life of the child. In addition to that, our vision was driven by Optimist Hall, which is a destination location now in Charlotte, but we wanted to create an Optimist Hall for general public, but as a safe place for kids with developmental delay. So our vision and the vision of my team that works with these kids on a daily basis is to turn the school back to the good for kids and the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time and investing in Gaston County, sir. The next person to speak is Ms. Zona Garrett.
My name is Zona Garrett, 1526 Sandy Hill Road in York. And I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for giving us the time to speak tonight, share our concerns, and to kind of give some insight. And I wanted to recognize Ms. Gail Mall, who was our steering committee lead for our point in time count that happened January 25th of this year. I am the Homeless Management Information System Administrator who will be inputting all of the PIT surveys into the HUD portal. I know each of you is eager to hear the specific data of our 2022 point-in-time count. At this time, I am only able to talk generally about our data, as the Continuum of Care Data Committee has not yet vetted the preliminary data. I can confirm that in Gaston County, the number of unsheltered homelessness counted on January 25th doubled from the previous year in 2021. The 2021 point-in-time count counted 132 unsheltered persons and households experiencing homeless within Gaston County. My deadline to submit the HUD data is April 29th of this year. The Continuum of Care will release the preliminary data at that time, and I just wanted to thank each one of you for your time and attention to such an important matter.
Thank you, ma'am. And that was the last of our speakers, but I will go back to Ms. Hyman. If you wish to speak on, you're more than welcome. I don't want to put you out of there, but you please step to the, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Hyman. I live at 113 Daybreak Lane here in Belmont, North Carolina. I am a proud Gaston County resident, and I'm going to beat you to the punch tonight, Chairman. And I am an attorney at Social Services here in the county, and I just wanted to take a moment to let everyone know that March is Social Worker Appreciation Month. And I don't know if you know a social worker or if you've been involved with the department in these aspects, but these workers are workers, supervisors, and everybody involved. They are absolutely amazing. It is a thankless job that they do day in and day out. They work with children in protective services. This works with adult and protective services. These social workers are the unsung heroes of our community. They deal with issues from homelessness, the opioid crisis, the mental health pandemic. Services like we're trying to provide at the new Belmont Middle School will be such an amazing resource to our county. And our social workers are on the front line of that. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate them and thank them. Thank you.
And we wanted to thank you for your willingness for what you're doing in your service level for DSS and also for your future that may come aboard.
Thank you.
That ends the public comment, citizens recognition. We'll now move to the approval of the consent agenda. As you know, March 8th work session was canceled. However, I wanted to point out the important Gaston County proclamation that will be adopted under tonight's proclaiming the month of March as National Social Worker Month. So Ms. Hyman had beat us to that, but thank you. And that is also, thank you to all the social workers who do the job that you do. It's a thankless job on many levels, but I can tell you the 7 of us at this board, thank you so much because it's the face of us when we go to the citizenry for that. So thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Commissioner Kieger, seconded by Commissioner Hovis. Any discussion? All in favor? Mr. Fraley?
Yay.
Thank you. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Oh, you want to talk about it? The next item on the non-consent to amend the Gaston County ARPA Grant Project Ordinance 2021-264 to approve and appropriate project funding for the design of the Cherville Park project. Do I have a motion, Commissioner Fraley?
Yes, you do.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Fraley?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is Commissioner Fraley as well. Public Works to authorize the Gaston County Manager or her designee to execute professional services contract with Bench for the design of One America Rescue Plan Act ARPA Park project. Commissioner Fraley, you wish to make that motion again?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Commissioner Fraley, seconded by Commissioner Hovis. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a few brief comments.
Go ahead.
You know, this project, it checks off a lot of the boxes for the ARPA funds. It's much needed. The county already owns the 7 acres beside the elementary school. It will allow the students to use this area, you know, during the daytime, and the rest of the community all-purpose type field for soccer games and practice, and it's much needed, and I appreciate the support of the board. Thank you. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? All in, oh,
I would just ask, Mr. Chairman, what other amenities are planned for this, and what do we anticipate the cost to be of this park project? Obviously located in Cherryville, so thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Fraley, for filling me in a little bit more on that.
I'll defer that over to the county manager.
Sure, thank you, Mr.
Madam
Chairman.
Manager.
The estimated construction cost is approximately $1.4 million. We'll have more detail after we work through the design process. There is a walking track, and then there's athletic fields that are a part of this. We've had some conversation already with the town of Cherryville in terms of the maintenance that will occur by the town. Lighting is still an outstanding question based on the desires of the community, but that's it generally, Mr. Worley.
Thank you.
And I also have been approached by Cherryville about the part of, which is the Parks and Rec Trust Fund board that I sit on at the state level, about that funding for additional. So I'm supposed to be meeting with their town manager, Mr. Dalton, soon about that. So, any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Mr. Fraley?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. The next item, Commissioner Worley, Public Works, to finalize and formally accept the offer of $3.1 million to purchase the old Belmont Middle School located at 110 North Central Avenue, Belmont, and request acceptance by Gaston County Board of Education. Motion made by Commissioner Worley, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. Any discussion? Commissioner Worley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, as both Mr. Church and Audie described, this building has been part of the Belmont community for 84 years. And it is a landmark, of course, and it's exciting to see what will become next there and how it will be used by the public. But certainly having a public purpose is important. Not only did my wife go to school there, my son went to school there. I live in Cramerton, but we were in the Belmont district. So, and then several other generations that have gone there. So everyone that I've spoken to about the building, they didn't want to see that leveled and raised and houses go there or who knows what. So I think having this public purpose, and we'll be able to see this for many years to come, and it'll be an asset to our community. Certainly what you all do at Care Partners, I look forward to being there as this project takes shape and y'all work on this. I know this will be an extensive renovation, but it's exciting. I thank you for your investment in the community. So I'm proud to make the motion to accept your bid.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Motion made by Commissioner Worley, seconded by Commissioner Kieger. All in favor? Commissioner Fraley? It is unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Did you bring your checkbook? It all goes back to the schools, so that's the great thing.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue. No items were pulled from the consent agenda for tonight. I will now move on to appointments. Commissioner Worley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have two, and I'll make them both in a motion. An application for the Child Fatality Prevention Team, application from Christopher Waldrop, and the Region F Aging Advisory Committee, an application from Dr. Ed Smith as the Council on Aging rep. Make those as a motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Hovis. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Fraley?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Hovis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one tonight. The Personnel Advisory Board, Ms. Sandra Pageant is seeking reappointment. That's the only one I have tonight, sir.
I'll second that. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Mr. Johnson.
I have one application received from Edwin Grigg Springs for Gaston County Board of Adjustment and Gaston County Housing Board.
Commissioner Hovis has seconded that. All in favor?
Yay.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Kieger,
None this evening.
does anyone have anybody else's tonight? I don't think we do. I think that. Is that all? I think that's all she's saying, Ronnie.
Well, actually, Mr. Philbeck does have 3.
He didn't want them? He didn't want them tonight? We'll move on to committee reports. Commissioner Worley. I'm sorry, Commissioner Fraley, do you have any appointments?
No appointments or reports tonight, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, sir. Commissioner Worley.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hovis.
Mr. Chair, I have no reports for this evening.
Mr. Johnson.
No reports.
Mr. Kieger.
Just real briefly, from Gaston College, the ribbon cutting will take place celebrating the new baseball season over at Sims Park at noon this Saturday. And activities will start at 2, and doubleheader will start at 3 o'clock. That's this Saturday. Go out and support the Rhinos.
I don't know if you know, but I'm sure Commissioner Kieger does, that they were 19-0 at one time in this season. Also, Saturday kicks off the senior games. I see a lot of people in here who may be afforded the opportunity to go to the senior games and participate. I know that everyone on this board does, except for myself, is afforded that responsibility. But I hope you guys all come out and enjoy that. You 3 as well. Everybody but me on this board, so I'm very appreciative of that.
And we can't wait till you join.
No, she's over by a year. We won't tell you what the cutoff is, but it's 21. County Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to pull up 2 slides. I'll keep this very brief, but I did want to share with you all tonight a sneak peek on the new website. We're getting a new county website, and it's been a long time coming. We've been spending a lot of time trying to ensure that the new version of our website is user-friendly and there's an ease of use for our citizens and our community that we don't have today in terms of being able to access information. So I really briefly just wanted to show you this is what the new homepage will look like. We are in the process of loading all of the content currently and doing training with our employees. If you go to the next slide, please, D'Andrea. This is the calendar, and I'm really excited about this in terms of having a better organization of the events to share with the community. And there's a separate tab for public meetings, so folks on the new website will have the ability to do one click and go straight to see your meetings here on Tuesday nights and have access in a way that's much easier and a better experience. We'll also have a way for folks to access the website via phone. There's a mobile version that will make interacting with the county much easier as well. So with that being said, we'll complete training and loading of content, and it will launch officially in early July with the beginning of the new fiscal year. That's my report. Thank you.
Just want to steal everybody's thunder about the app, but that's okay. It's funny how when we talk about things of technology, how the smiles on the faces of the employees go up, and I think that's good because they understand how we feel when people call us and we have to direct them to you guys. So thank you to all the employees. You're the face of what we do, and it means a lot. We'll now move to the county attorney's report. Mr. Stetzer.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
It's odd. Any other matters need to come before the board at this time? Seeing none, this concludes our meeting for tonight. Our next work session is Tuesday, April 12th at 6 p.m. here in the Harley B. Gaston Public Forum Courthouse. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please telephone our clerk, Donna Buff, at 704-866-3196. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Commissioner Hovis, seconded by Commissioner Worley. All in favor?
Alcohol.
It is unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Yay.
Good night, Gaston. Bye.